All right. Good evening, folks. We get to continue on our theme for the year, which is focusing on the essentials. Who can list one of the essentials for me?
Offside.
Offsides. Oh,
Ah,
I'm starting you guys off right away, putting the pressure on you. We got offside.
goal, no goal.
Uh-huh. Goal, no goal.
Penalty kick.
100
Penalty kicks and
uh-huh.
100% misconduct.
Yeah.
100% misconduct. Great. There we go. Thank you. It's a sharp group. So those four essentials are based off something Brian Hall said at the Ken Aston camp a while back. That's what you got to get right to get a game, to have a game go well. Um, he's coming back to the Ken Aston camp in June as the principal instructor again. Um, so anyone who gets to be a part of that will actually get to see him. I didn't know that was coming when I picked this theme for the year. He actually wasn't planned. The original person backed out, and that's just something about the Ken Aston camp that Brian Hall is your plan B. You're living pretty high up there. Uh, so with that said, I want to throw to um, our instructor for tonight, Cindy, who will be talking to us about one of the essentials that she chose. So thanks for creating this novel material for us. This is all original. Take it away.
Well, thank you, Lewis. My name is Cindy Elliott. There's a reason why Lewis and I have the same last name, but you'll have to guess what it is. Um, when Lewis asked me, hey, would you like to do one of the discussion sessions? I was thinking, I said, oh, I'm going to pick the easy one, goal, no goal. Then I started digging into it, and it's not quite as simple as it sounds. So hopefully, you guys get to discover some new material tonight, and everybody finds this useful in one of those very essential decisions, which is a very emotional decision, goal, no goal. So I'm going to try to share, and let me see if I can do this. If I'm lucky, that came through good. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
There's no gray bars interfering or anything.
Nope.
Oh, excellent. I like it. That's unusual. Okay. So, goal, no goal. Critical situation, mainly because it's a highly emotional situation, and that's why everybody's there at the game. So, everybody has an opinion on it. And you, as a referee, me as a referee, I need to make sure that I'm prepared to make these decisions. So, hopefully, I'm going to show you some topics tonight that are novel for you and give you a little bit better preparedness when you get to a match. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so Law 10 is where we're going to find information about goals. And Law 10 is called Determining the Outcome of a Match. And it's pretty simple. We all know this. This is the basic stuff. A goal is scored when the whole of the ball passes over the goal line, between the goalposts and under the crossbars, provided there's no offense that has been committed by the team scoring the goal. Anybody surprised by that? Good. All right, so we're off to a good start. There's also a few little caveats thrown in here in Law 10. If the goalkeeper throws the ball directly into the opponent's goal, a goal kick is awarded. So if you have a goalkeeper with that strong of a throw and we have a windy day, I guess, and goes in, how many people knew this little tidbit?
I didn't.
Okay. They hide it right there in Law 10. All right. So the goalkeeper can't score with his hands in the opponent's goal. And also, the second little tidbit that's in there is if a referee signals a goal before the ball has passed wholly over the goal line, so the referee made a mistake, okay? They signaled a goal, but the ball didn't cross the goal line. And then they realized they made a mistake. The way they're going to restart play is with a drop ball. So this is just explicitly called out here.
Is that a drop ball to the goalkeeper coming out?
I would assume that that would be the correct choice because at the moment that the referee made the mistake and they decided to stop the game, the ball was in the penalty area. It didn't leave the field. So it seems like the only choice is yes, it would be a drop ball to the goalkeeper.
So does that mean that a referee points to the center, the center, hopefully the AR is coming up or, or let's say the mistake is pointing to the center enough because a whistle's not needed for it. And then can you fix your call since a whistle wasn't blown and because to change the restart, you can't change after a restart. So, or we could do this after. Sorry, I'm just interested.
No. What are everybody's opinion on this? What do you guys think? What would be the fairest thing to do?
So I think this is most useful in the situation where it's an apparent goal. You signal the goal, everybody stops play, and they start bringing the ball out, and the AR says, "Come on over here, come on over here." And you go and you talk to the AR, and the AR says, "That did not cross the goal line." And you decide that, yeah, the AR is the one who had that thing. So now, like, there was no goal. That one to me is a pretty obvious, okay, we're going to restart it with a drop ball to the keeper right there. The more difficult one is the ball is on its way over the goal line and you kind of drag your hand back to signal back there, but it hasn't quite gone over yet, but then it does. I don't know. I mean, in that situation, I'm probably awarding the goal, even though my arm started to go back a little bit too soon.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be more of a trifling situation, and probably nobody but the referee knows when their arm started moving. Um, so thank you, Darren. That's good input. So yeah, John, I would reiterate and agree with Darren and say, if you started to move your arm slightly, but then you see it's the wrong decision and nobody has reacted, that's one thing. But if the players have seen the decision, if you blew the whistle, or if the players have reacted to your signal, then this is the only fair thing to do. Anybody disagree with that? Okay, cool. All right, so let's dig in a little bit more into some other things. And I wanted to go to the section in the laws of the game called Practical Guidelines for Match Officials. This is a neglected section. I find out over the years a lot of people, oh, I didn't know that was in there. I didn't know that was in there. So there's a lot of good input about signaling and communication between the referee and the assistant referee that's found in the guidelines section. So I'm going to pull them out and we're going to have a discussion about them. So the first point is when a goal has been scored and there's no doubt about the decision. What's the signal for the referee and the AR? Touchdown.
Eye contact. AR moves up the line. Referee points to the center circle.
Exactly. That's what we've all done. And it's the specific words from the laws of the game, the referee and assistant referee must make eye contact. And the assistant referee must then move quickly 25 to 30 meters, spelled the British way, along the touch line towards the halfway line without raising the flag. So very clear there. That's our everyday situation. We don't have a problem with that.
But we
Go
haven't
ahead.
been telling people that we're teaching, mentoring to move 25 to 30 meters up the line. We tell them move towards the center. We don't tell them a distance. Should we be now telling them a distance since it's specified?
You might want to make it age appropriate. So on a full-size field, 25 to 30 meters is, about the distance that's going to take you, a little bit outside the penalty area. Now, on a 10U field, that would be something completely different. So if you're talking to brand new referees, you probably want to scale it down with the size of the field. Yeah, but if they get the message to turn and run towards the halfway line, we've got a win there. Let's look at one of the other. Oh, forgot. I have some examples here. So let's see some stellar examples here in some Team 3 footage of this SIG.
I've got a question for you while that plays out. So there's no audio. If you're intending for audio, that's not there. When you did the screen share, did you click optimize for video sharing?
No, I did not. So how
Okay.
did I do that? Walk me through.
Yeah, so if you end the screen share, I forgot to give you a heads up on this. Sorry about that.
Okay.
And when you go to share again, instead of clicking share, click the upward chevron, and you'll have advanced share options. Share settings, sorry.
Share settings, okay.
And then you scroll down to sorry, I'm getting
Advanced,
myself turned around.
go down to advanced.
You know what? Never mind, ignore me. Hit the share button again. And then when it brings up the menu for which screen you want to share and whatnot, on the far right, there are two check boxes to hit. There's the share sound and then optimize for video sharing. And then it'll smooth out and we'll get audio.
Thank you.
It'll just take more
Would have been
bandwidth.
obvious. Okay. Thank you, Lewis. All right,
Yep.
let's try that again. I was going to make a comment that this was a typical day at Conejo Creek because it's very windy, but now you'll be able to hear that and you'll appreciate the joke. Okay, here we go again.
Nice run.
Right, that's a simple one. Okay. So let's look at the next little caveat that we find. When a goal has been scored, but the ball appears still to be in play. Anybody know what's recommended to do here? So a goal's been scored, but the ball still appears to be in play. So the players are still playing.
To raise the flag.
What was that, Randy?
The AR raises the flag
Okay, and where is the AR standing when they raise the flag?
on the goal line.
Oh, excellent. Nice job. Yeah, the assistant referee must first raise the flag to attract the referee's attention, then continue with the normal goal procedure for running quickly 25 to 30 meters along the touchline towards the halfway line. And this is critical that you get the assistant referee waiting at that point with the flag raised until the referee sees them. And I looked for a long time to find a video illustrating this. If somebody finds one, let me know, but I couldn't find one. But I wanted to share an example that happened to me some years ago. Happened to be on a high school game. There was a ball that I couldn't tell if it was a goal or not. The players kept playing. The defensive player got the ball and started bringing it up the field. I immediately looked at my assistant referee who had perfectly gone to the goal line. So I thought, okay, he's got a good sight on this. He'll let me know. And he starts moving up the field. And he just so happens to be moving up the field at the same rate the ball's moving up the field. So he's staying with that second last defender. And I thought, okay, so he's telling me no goal. He's resuming to follow play. And then he kind of stopped, the ball kind of stopped. The defenders encountered some attackers about 25 to 30 yards up the field. And at that moment, which had been a couple of seconds, I noticed he was all of a sudden, I was looking at him through play, and he was just giving me all kinds of signals with his hand gestures, kind of pointing back at the goal and pointing here and there. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to stop the game and talk to him. So I stopped the game, went over, and he said, that ball went in. It was a goal. So thank goodness he got my attention and I was able to award the goal. But I've got to tell you, my thought process as the referee is I was thinking, okay, there he is on the goal line. Okay, there he is now continuing with play as it's coming back out. So I took that as a clear signal, no goal. After the match, we talked about it, and he was not familiar with the signal where he stays on the goal line with the flag raised. So that was potentially a situation where I could have totally blown it and not awarded a goal that was deserved. Anybody else have any situations like that that have happened to them? Am I the only one?
I do, but it's not necessarily the happy ending.
Oh.
So I had a U14 girls game at Conejo Creek. The ball was kicked and went under the crossbar, I guess. To me, as the referee, I thought it deflected down, hit the line, and came out. Everyone started moving. I started moving with the ball. My AR paused, but then he started moving with the second to last defender. Play went on. So we get to halftime and we talk about it. And he said, "Oh, that ball went in." And I said, "Well, if that ball went in, you need to let me know so I can stop play. But you don't, once a ball's out, you know, over any touch line, including the goal line, the call is put your flag up so we know what's happening." So it was such a close call that no one on the field knew except for that AR what happened. So, not a happy ending, but not one that got me a bunch of grief. But I hope we both learned from it.
Well, thank you for sharing that, John, because I'm sure it happens a lot.
Cindy, I had a thought or question here. It seems to me that by following this, though, there's a period of time when the referee sees the AR standing there with the flag up. Couldn't the referee think that, I mean, he could blow the whistle. I guess it doesn't matter if he blows the whistle, but he could blow the whistle thinking it's an offsides call or, just.
But then, yeah, so what's going to happen after the whistle's blown? Then you're going to still be looking at the AR, and then their actions at that point are going to tell you what went on,
Yeah,
right?
okay, yeah, and then you point to this, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Are they moving 25 to 30 yards up the line, or are they, giving you the indication for the offside?
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. All right, we've got one more situation here that's listed in the laws. On occasions, when the hole of the ball does not cross the goal line and play continues as normal because a goal has not been scored, what should you do then?
Carry on.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, everybody was like,
Trick question.
no, too simple. Okay. And it says the referee must make eye contact with the assistant referee and, if necessary, give a discreet hand signal. So yeah, carry on. And that discreet hand signal can be very useful in conveying between the assistant referee and the referee, yeah, I got this covered. It was not a goal. And I'm going to show you an example of that. I do have a good video of that, courtesy of Nathan Roberts. So let's watch that. catch that little signal he gave at the end there? Yeah?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know if I caught it, but he definitely carried on.
Let
It's
me
still
find.
pretty
For
choppy. If you scrub through it slowly, that
Okay,
might help us.
yeah. Let me get to the real important point. Oh, hang on. Uh, Okay. I don't know what happened there. Sorry.
no problem.
All right. There we go. Now I'll go from this. All right. There. Looks like a certain goalkeeper save, right? Got
Yeah.
our assistant referee over here keeping up with the ball pretty well. Oops. Goalkeeper flubbed the ball. Assistant referee is right over here lined up with the ball. Got the goalkeeper. We've got the ball.
It was like a palm down.
Yeah, he put his hand out. I'll just. Might keep skipping forward, but let me try one more time to show you the.
Do you know how to scrub through the video?
Oh, my
Yeah,
controls. Oh, there we go. It wasn't popping
yeah.
up at first. There we go. Now I can do it. All right, here we go. That player kind of interferes with it, but you can kind of see
Yeah.
where he's doing a little flip of his hand over to the referee to say, hey, nothing happened there. We good?
Very nice.
That was a beautiful example from Nathan there. All right. So, okay. So this is what we get from the practical guidelines section of the laws of the game. Very useful to have really effective communication, and maybe these are some of the points that you want to put in your pregame if you don't already have them in there, just briefly discussing these topics to make sure you're going to be on the same page with this critical situation. All right. Let's move on to restarts. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of nuances with restarts and whether a goal can be scored or not. Tuesday night after the field session, I think a couple of you were discussing uh, different situations where you'd seen goals scored and there were unusual situations. So I just wanted to bring those out and make sure we talk about them. So got a few of them here. We'll go through them pretty quickly, but a lot of laws mention when we're going to allow a goal to be scored or not. So we've got Law 8, which is start and restart a play. We got Law 13, free kicks. Law 14, penalty kicks. Law 15, throw in. Law 16, goal kick. And Law 17, corner kick. So all of these have specific instructions about goal, no goal situations. So let's take some time and go through them. So we'll go through them in numerical order. So let's start with Law 8, start and restart a play. This particularly talks about two situations. One, the first one it talks about is the kickoff. Who can describe what the laws say about scoring a goal on the kickoff?
well, I know
Uh,
you can do it because it happened in LA Galaxy against Kansas City on Tony Mueller, who was looking behind his back at the Jumbotron of the goal they had just scored, and Mike, somebody, I can't remember who, kicked it off into the goal.
Oops.
I know a goal may be scored directly from a kickoff, um, in the opponent's goal. If I think it says if the ball is kicked directly into the team that's kicking off their goal, then the restart would be a corner kick if it goes directly in their own goal. But I think that's what it says.
Yeah, that's right, James. Exactly. So this can be shocking the first time you see it. How many of you, tell me if you've seen this in an AYSO match? I've seen it a couple of times.
I've never
With-
seen someone
with-
kick the kickoff into their own goal, but I've seen
Right.
a goal off that. But yes,
I get a number of kids ask if they can do it. Tell them yes.
Yeah, same.
All right. And this little mention about kicking it into the kicker's own goal is part of a philosophy in laws of the game, and there, which says in no situation, no restart situation, is the team allowed to directly score on themselves. So you're going to find this exception listed on all the restarts, that the kicker cannot score on themselves. Instead, we're going to have a corner kick. So very good, James, you caught that one. The other situation that's covered in this law is drop balls. Who can tell me? Let's have somebody else who hasn't had a chance to speak up. Maybe Kelly. Kelly, can you tell us what the laws say about drop balls? When can a goal be scored?
So the person taking the drop ball they would have to put it in play, and then it would have to touch one of their teammates or another player actually, in order for a goal to be awarded.
Yeah, good. The exact wording is, if a drop ball enters the goal without touching at least two players, and true, it doesn't have to be two players on the same team, play is restarted with a goal kick if it enters the opponent's goal and a corner kick if it enters the team's goal. How many of you have seen this happen in an AYSO match?
John has seen everything.
well, no. Once again, I've not seen it kicked into the team's own goal, but so yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it once in a match, actually a Team 3 match at the Pot of Gold tournament in a boys 14 match, where it was a drop ball. The player dribbled through everybody and put it in the goal, and his coach lost it when the goal wasn't awarded, but the referee knew the laws and did not award a goal. Instead, he awarded a goal kick. Oh,
So Randy, this happened against a Moore Park team. I was the AR on the opposite side of the field. It was a Thousand Oaks team, U10. Um, a drop ball, they kick it, it goes into the net. They're going to restart. The referee talks to the AR on the Moore Park side, so the opposite side where it was scored. They award a goal. I end up walking a couple steps onto the field, and the referee looked at me and he put his hand out and he pointed to it. So I thought he meant it touched a hand. So I backed up because I'm not going to make it. But I knew once the restart happened, it was over. And the game restarted, the goal counted, and Moore Park was ballistic after the game, asking if it could be changed, to which I said no. But it was, like I said, I tried to correct it, but yeah, it was an unfortunate. Why am I involved with all the unfortunate situations?
That's
Anyway,
why I said if
yeah.
something's going to happen, you will have seen it.
We come up with the test questions by just watching John's games.
It's the what not to do section.
Yeah, but John did what he was supposed to do.
yeah. Oh, all right. You guys are doing well. Let's move on. Let's talk about free kicks. Okay. So ball enters the goal. What are the possible situations we have here with free kicks?
A direct free kick that goes right in.
Okay, and what are you going to do if a direct free kick goes in the goal?
If you're the AR, you're gonna motion up 25 meters ish. If you're the referee, point to the center circle.
Okay. All right, and then let's jump to the next subject. What are we going to do if the ball enters the goal on an indirect free kick? Get that one.
We're
Who's
going to
got that one?
award a goal kick.
Yes, a goal kick is awarded if an indirect free kick is kicked directly into the opponent's goal. The same as the drop ball, they're both restarts that require 2 touches before a goal can be scored, right? And then we have to throw in the last unlikely situation, but it's very consistent in the laws. If a direct or indirect free kick is kicked directly into the team's own goal, a corner kick is awarded. So even on a direct free kick, you can't score on yourself on a free kick. All right. And probably on free kicks, that's kind of one of the more common situations where you see goals scored. How many of you have been involved in a situation where an indirect free kick went directly into the goal and you did not award it, and explain what you had to do and what went on?
Yep.
Tell us about it. Anybody?
Well, uh, it was a very clear example of an indirect free kick with the hand signal up, no arm straight up in the air, and everyone knew it. And the ball went straight into the goal. And mostly the defending team was confused what happened. I told them it was indirect free kick, ball went straight in, so you guys have a goal kick. And they kept asking me, goal kick, goal kick? I said, yep, goal kick. That was the restart. I don't know.
Okay, good. So that brings up another topic, just to get a little bit more in the weeds here. Does anybody know what you should do if you awarded an indirect free kick, but you forgot to raise your hand and the ball went directly in the goal? What are you directed to do on that situation?
It used to be that then you would have to, that there was nothing that you could do because they were supposed to know, but they recently changed that, where now if you didn't raise your hand and it did, then you have to redo it.
So you retake the kick, and I don't believe that's a recent change, but yeah, that's correct. And you do retake the kick if your hand was not raised and the ball went directly into the goal. Good. All right, let's continue making our way down this list of restarts. Oh, penalty kicks. So complicated. Wow, here we go. We have to have a table to tell us what to do. And it's good if you really spend some time understanding this and getting the information down so that when you are in a penalty kick situation, you're going to know how to react. But basically, the way it rolls out is that if the ball went in the goal and the attacker or the attacker's team committed the offense, we're not going to award the goal, right?
Right.
Okay. And if the defending team committed an infraction and the ball went in the goal, we're not going to disallow the goal. Fair enough? Yeah, seems like the fair thing to do there. And if the ball did not go in the goal, please never award a goal. No matter which team encroached, we're not going to award a goal. We're going to be deciding based on this table whether we allow a retake or not. Anybody have any confusions or questions about this? I think you've probably all been familiar with this table and you're probably all pretty well prepared for it, but any questions about it? How about, do you have any questions or any confusions about when it says things like it has no impact, the encroachment has no impact? How would you, somebody maybe could give us their description of what it means by no impact? The encroachment had no impact.
Well, one situation could be if on a penalty kick, all the players are supposed to be behind the line and arc, right, of the penalty area. And so if a player encroaches on that line before the ball is kicked, but they don't have an impact on the play, right? If they're far away from the kick or from the goalkeeper, then if in the referee's opinion that had no impact, then the goal can stand.
Or if the ball missed the goal, then we wouldn't allow retake, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
I think the difficult one for me is the keeper leaves a little bit early, leaves the line a little bit early, comes out. But the ball was kind of kicked sort of straight at the keeper. So the keeper gets the ball, but in my opinion, like the keeper probably would have gotten it even if they had stayed on the line. Does that have an impact or not? I think that's a really hard decision to make.
I think I would have to advise that you don't want to split hairs that much. If the ball went to the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper stepped off the line early, you need to assume that it had an impact. I think what this is referring to is, let's say the goalkeeper steps off just, a bit early, but the ball was sent 10 yards wide.
Sure.
If your opinion, that little step had no impact on that, then clearly that's a no impact situation. But if the goalkeeper makes a save and they've encroached, then I think you're pretty much obligated to have the opinion that it had an impact. Anybody want to debate that? Anybody have different opinions on that?
No, I was just going to say that if you look at this table, they're in the middle, offense by goalkeeper, and the one below it, goalkeeper and kicker pin at the same time. Neither one of those has a impact or no impact qualifier.
Yeah. That's what I was checking too. And I was kind of thinking about that no impact term, because even if it doesn't directly apply to those rows, I think it's good for analyzing for context, general sentiment for how the laws are written. I'm thinking, does that allow space for trifling and doubtful offenses to be brushed away? So if your eyes are that good and the goalkeeper is off the line by a millimeter, and the ball goes straight to them, did that really matter? So that's kind of my thinking around that. Does it allow for trifling and doubtful? And I think trifling and doubtful applies in general via Law 5, so it's not really needed to be explicitly applied to those rows. However, that's normally not the situation. They're usually coming off the line a bit early and reducing the angle and having an impact. Unless they just let the ball in anyway, then you don't have to make any hard decisions.
I did just go look at the law. It's interesting because for the goalkeeper offenses, if the ball enters the goal, it's a goal. That's fairly obvious. If the ball misses the goal or rebounds off a crossbar, then you go to the impact question. Did the keeper cause the kicker to, whiff at it or something? But then the third one is if the ball is prevented from entering the goal by the goalkeeper, the kick is retaken. It's not an impact, no impact question. It's just was it prevented? And so I agree with you. Is it trifling? Maybe we can apply that exception there. But there's no impact, no impact decision to be made, I guess, in the example I gave.
Exactly. Yeah. I always wonder, like in situations where they use VAR and they can see that, well, just, he was a millimeter off the line and they apply it. They don't give any, decision, no impact. They decide, okay, that was an encroachment and we're going to enforce it like it had an impact.
You have seen it applied that harshly with
I've seen
VAR?
I've seen when they've used VAR, at the international level and applied it. Yes. Where when there was encroachment, that was decided to have impact when the goalkeeper came off the line.
Interesting.
All right, good. I always think this table lends to a lot of lively discussion, so that's good. All right, let's move on to our next restart. Throw-ins. Anybody seen a goal scored from a throw-in?
Hopefully not.
You mean directly from a throw-in?
What's the law say about that, Andy?
If it touches another player, then it would be a goal.
And if it goes indirectly? No
would-
goal.
Wait, you said directly, right?
Yeah,
It would be no goal.
right. And this is explicitly what it says in the laws, is a goal cannot be scored directly from a throw-in. And then you get into the details. Of course, the common situation, if the ball enters the opponent's goal, goal kick is awarded. And if the ball enters a thrower's goal, a corner kick is awarded. So we're all pretty familiar with this one. Not a lot of controversy here, right?
Right.
All right, let's move on then. Goal kicks. All right, can you score a goal on a goal kick? What do you
Yep.
guys think? Let's hear your opinions.
But I have the same question. Are you talking about directly into your own goal?
Yeah, yeah, we're
Okay.
talking about all of these would be directly.
Then no.
All right, so Andy votes no, you cannot score a goal on a goal kick.
What? Your own goal?
No, the opponent's goal.
Oh, the opponent's goal.
I would guess yes. But it's a
I'd
guess.
say no.
Yes,
All right,
into the
let's-
opponent's goal.
Yes.
We got some yeses, we got some nos, we got some uncertainties. What the law says is a goal may be scored directly from a goal kick, but only against the opposing team, of course. And if the ball directly enters the kicker's goal, a corner kick is awarded to the opponents. Now, I've got to admit, I have never, ever, ever seen this. Has anybody ever seen it?
Yes.
Oh, John's going to speak up. Come on.
I back when we didn't have Pleasant Valley Fields wasn't there, and we were at Freedom Park, and it was a really, really, really windy day. And that's the one, and it was a 10U game.
Okay. Andy, that reminds me, at that same park, I've got to say that I did see a situation on a goal kick where the ball went up in the air and was blown back into the kicker's goal. I did see that one situation. All right. Pretty rare situation, but we've got pretty standard wording here. All right, corner kicks. We see this all the time. Everybody knows you can score a goal on a corner kick, right?
Yeah,
And what's it called when you score a goal on a corner kick?
Awesome.
Is that an
Yeah.
Olympico?
It's an Olympico.
Olympico.
I
Yeah.
just learned that. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, we have the caveat, which is on all of these restarts, that if the ball directly enters the kicker's goal, which seems hard to imagine, but a corner kick is awarded to the opponents. All right. So done with the restarts. Any questions on any of the restarts? Anything that we didn't talk about that you've got a question about on restarts?
Yeah.
All right. Then let's go back where we started. I want to go back to Law 10, determining the outcome of the match. And I want to talk about two words that are in there. I've highlighted them in red on this slide. It says, provided no offense has been committed by the team scoring the goal. So let's dig into that a little bit. What type of offenses do you think you might typically see committed, and they would factor whether we're going to allow the attacking team to have the goal or not?
Offside.
Offside.
You guys don't go up the stairs that you did.
Anybody else?
Extra
impeding,
players on the field.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Handball.
Handball.
impeding,
What was that?
impeding.
Oh,
Someone blocks someone out from trying to stop the ball going in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. And I think you can commonly see these. I kind of divide them up into probably one of the most common we see is the offside. I want to go into that a little bit more. And the handball, and then all the others like impeding, extra players on the field, all these situations. If those offenses are committed by the team that scores, we're not going to award the goal, right?
Right.
So let's look at offside for a minute here. I've got a nice video. Oh, now I'm confused. Oh, there we go. And this is gonna link, and I hope this works. So let me see if I can play this video. Ready? Here we go. What happened there? Let me replay it again.
It's well done by that referee.
That's a little too far. Just a little bit. Do we have an offside player there?
More than likely.
Okay. What do we think about the position of the assistant referee? Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Like father, like son, they take after each other. They do their line positioning pretty well. So his signal right away, he's signaling for the offside. And we got Randy in the middle there. He's paying attention. He immediately is making the call, moving in to talk to the players.
Raph, look at your AR.
Well done, Randy. Tell us about what you were looking at in that, since you're on the meeting with us, Randy. Tell us about what you saw there.
I think I got lucky that I was, looking through play at Keith when I saw him raise his flag right away. So it wasn't obvious to me that there was an offsides there, but I knew that Keith was right there on the line and raised his flag and blew the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, there's nothing lucky about good positioning, Randy.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. There's nothing lucky about good positioning.
Well, too many times it's Raph, look at your AR.
Well, don't be too modest, Randy. It's you had very good positioning there, and like John said, that's what set you up to be looking through play. It wasn't lucky that you were looking at him. You chose a good position that enabled you to see him. So that was well done. This was a pretty clear-cut situation. Anybody else have any situations with offside that you want to talk about?
I had one at Apricot Jam, not team 3, where the play quickly moved down. The attackers moved the ball down quickly. The AR wasn't keeping up with play. There was a shot on goal. It came back out. Everyone caught up at that point in time, and there was an attacking player that just kind of hung out in that same spot where this attacking player just was. And the ball eventually made its way to him, and he kicked it right in. But the air still wasn't there. And I was like, oh, wait, that is definitely offside. So everyone's cheering because they scored a goal. And I said, no, that was offside. And the opposing coach was pretty upset because the AR hadn't raised his flag because he wasn't there. But he backed me up. He said, no, she got the call right. But yeah, that was one I had to think for a second. I'm like, wait, he's like 5 feet off. So it's nice when the air gets all the way down.
Mhm. So was this AR consistently not staying with the line?
I think this air in particular had a hard time with the sprints, and then catching up and got winded. Yeah, fitness
So-
was the factor.
Yeah, and that happens, it
Yeah,
happens to all of us.
absolutely.
What can you do as a referee? What do you have to do as a referee when you're in a situation like that?
I have to get wider and deeper, and on that side where that AR is, I have to get closer so I can see when players are in an offside position.
Mhm.
And it's helpful if you're on a football field, but that was not the case here.
Yeah, when you get those visual clues. Yeah, very good. Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to try and switch back over here. There we go. All right, I think I did this. All right, let's talk about the other one that I wanted to highlight here. How about the handball offense? There's some particular situations when it talks about goals directly from a handball offense, and they're specifically enumerated. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of these. So if an offense, it is an offense if a player scores in the opponent's goal, and then we're given two situations. One, directly from hand or arm, even if accidental, including by the goalkeeper. What does this mean? Somebody explain this to us. What do you think?
That's just talking about the situation where the last touch by any player is off of an attacker's hand.
Okay. Off of the attacker's hand.
Or arm.
Yeah, the general handball hand.
Right.
Yeah. And they throw in even if the goalkeeper, but this would assume, you would assume then the goalkeeper is up in the opponent's, near the opponent's goal, trying to score a goal as well.
Well, I think that means that even if the keeper is legally holding the ball, and I know we already talked about this earlier with respect to scoring, a keeper throwing the ball into the goal, but I think this is talking about the keeper legally has the ball in their hand and throws it directly into the goal. This law says, nope, we're not going to award that. Because in any other situation, this directly off of the hand or arm, if accidental, is you keep playing. You just see how the play goes out. But if it goes into the goal, then we stop it.
Right. And this wording comes from Law 12. So it's specifically talking about a handball offense, not illegal handling by the goalkeeper. So I think this is just thrown in as a clarification that even if the goalkeeper is up there playing offense and the ball accidentally comes off his hand or arm, still we're not going to award a goal into the opponent's goal.
I wish they would have made that a little more explicit of which goalkeeper they were talking about.
Well, but the defensive goalkeeper wouldn't be handling the ball because he's allowed to handle the ball in the goal. So
Yeah,
then that's why we have to realize that I agree with you, but we have to realize that they're talking about the opposing goalkeeper.
It says right there, a player into the opponent's goal.
Yeah, into the opponent's goal.
Right.
Good.
I would still say that if a keeper from their own penalty area throws the ball all the way across the field into the opponent's goal, that is a handball offense by this law. It is in no other situation a handball offense, but here under this very specific rule, it is a handball offense.
Well, that specific situation was covered earlier. Let me go back, way back, and I'll show you where it's covered. Let me just get this. Find it now.
Way back.
But where did it go?
Law 10.
Yeah, it was up here. Okay.
Right there.
If the goalkeeper throws the ball directly into the opponent's goal, a goal kick is awarded. So it doesn't define it as a handball offense. It's specifically enumerated in Law 10.
No, you're right. That's weird. There's two different laws that kind of say different things. Because there's also a law that says if the keeper is out of their penalty area, they're treated as any other player for purposes of handball.
So I'm seeing this situation be one of those crisis last moment, got to score a goal. They pull the defenders all up for a corner kick, and then the keeper uses their hand, maybe out of instinct, maybe out of desperation.
Yeah.
The attacking goalkeeper.
Right. And that's the situation in Law 12. This situation in Law 10 is talking about the goalkeeper legally throwing the ball. So if they're in their own penalty area and they throw that ball all the way down the field and it goes in the opponent's goal, so not a handball offense, but they legally throw it, they're still not going to award a goal. It's going to be a goal kick.
Now, what if trying to describe it. So everyone's down in one end, and there's a kick, all the way back to towards the other goal, and it happens to brush off the defending goalkeeper, right, who's legally allowed to touch it, but it's an accidental touch down it, right? So I mean, it's a very far-fetched situation, but to me, that would mean that the goal doesn't count because it last touched the hand of a goalkeeper.
But that touch and throw is two different words.
Yeah, I
So
don't
Randy, are
think we
you?
have any guidance on that. So some sort of deflection off the goalkeeper's arm.
Yeah, my situation is like a clearance that happens to, clearing the ball, kick it out towards the other goal, and it just happens to be deflected by the goalkeeper.
Can you give me a quick summary of the whole thing again?
Yeah.
I need VAR.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, so there is a clearance from I'll say the near goal to the far goal. And during that clearance of the ball, right? The goalkeeper of that near goal who's allowed to touch the ball just happens to get his hand on it as it's being cleared, and then it goes into that far goal.
So
it goes into the far goal.
Yeah.
You're suggesting that would be a handball offense?
I mean, based on what Cindy had up there before.
Yeah, so looking at Law 12, you score in the opponent's goal directly from their hand/arm, even if accidental, including by the goalkeeper. So yeah, that would be for a deflection to make it that far down the field. That's impressive. Every time we play through these, hockey goes into my mind, right? The puck can just keep going. But yeah, so in that one, that freak incident, yeah.
So that would be a restart with a direct free kick, as opposed to if the keeper throws it, that would be a goal kick. Now,
Yep.
fundamentally, does it really make any difference if you've got a goal kick? It's in fact better for the opposing team if you get a goal kick versus well, I guess it's from the spot of the foul. So you're talking about a free kick from where the keeper touched it.
Hey, what kind of free kick?
Yeah.
Well, a penalty kick, I suppose. You're
That's
talking about a
kinda
penalty
weird.
kick in that situation.
That's
Very,
Now-
very rare situation.
Is that what IFAB intended with the laws? Probably not. If that were to happen in a game, they might say, "Oh, we need to write that differently."
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big stretch.
Fair.
But they do leave an opportunity for your imagination to kind of run wild. It's not really.
Well, that's why I
Any
said I wish they
possibility.
were more explicit here with this, last little including by the goalkeeper because I don't know, I feel like you're left kind of trying to figure out what they meant.
Mm-hmm. It's my belief that they were talking about a goalkeeper who's moved up into the opponent's near the opponent's goal and plays the ball with the hand or arm and it directly goes in the goal.
The weird one with that is in the same law, there's an explicit line that says the keeper has the same restrictions as anyone else if they're not in their own penalty area.
correct.
So it's just unnecessary if that's what they're trying to talk about.
That's what I think. I think this is confusing and unnecessary.
Not the only place in the laws.
All right.
Yeah, that's all handball laws here. Confusing and
I'm going to throw one more point up for us so we can finish this off. So it also says it's an offense if a player scores in the opponent's goal immediately after the ball has touched their hand, arm, even if accidental. And the difference between these 2 points on this slide is directly and immediately. So directly, that we know that they touch the hand, it directly goes in the goal. Immediately means it's allowing for it touches the hand, then maybe it deflects off a leg and goes in the goal. Or it touches a hand, they bat it down to their foot and they kick it into the goal. So that's what when they use the word immediately, they're also saying that it's it's an offense. It's not in the spirit of the game if you have an accidental handball lead to creating a goal scoring opportunity like that, an immediate goal scoring opportunity.
I would, reading this, include in that it goes off of an attacker's hand, brushes off the keeper's hand, and goes into the goal. I would still say that's immediate. Anybody, do you agree with that?
Yeah, so we had another touch in there. Yeah, that's what this is talking about. Or goes to somebody's foot and they kick it in immediately.
Right.
All right, so we got into some of the meat of handball. Yeah, and the confusion of why they put goalkeeper here. So that kind of wraps up this session. You guys have any questions, comments? Did you find this useful? Did you learn anything that's going to help you in a game? Hopefully, we presented some information that's going to help you in games in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first thing you covered.
We didn't talk about it today, but we mentioned it earlier about the more than the legal number of players on the field. That happened to me in an Apricot Jam game. And I don't know, but that was just another that we didn't talk about today, but we touched on it a little bit. But
Share that just a little bit with us, James.
yeah, it was a U10 boys game at Apricot Jam. It was in the second quarter after the first sub break, and
oh, you got muted.
I thought he was leveraging suspense in his storytelling.
oh, I just realized I dropped my space bar. My
Oh.
bad. I don't know what did I last say?
It was just
Second
after
quarter.
substitutions, and then we were all
Yes.
hanging, waiting for the
Yes.
next words.
Sorry about that. Just after substitution, one of the teams scores a goal, and I was the referee, so we restart play with kickoff, and like a minute after the kickoff, I noticed a player ran off the field. I noticed them run off the field as the ball was going off over the touchline in a different area. So it took me a second to realize what I was watching because I hadn't had a player run off the field during the game before. So it took me a second, and a throw-in happened while my brain was processing what I saw. Then the ball went out again, and I stopped play, and I went over to the coach on the touchline because I just inquired. I said, what's going on here? I saw a player run off the field, and he said he shouldn't have been on the field. It's like, okay. I didn't notice it before that they had too many players at any point before noticing him run off the field. I can only assume, though, that he was on the field when they scored the goal. This was the team that scored the goal. I don't know that, I think that's what happened. But I obviously can't disallow the goal since the restart has happened from the kickoff. But yeah, it was an interesting situation. The other team was upset when they realized why I had stopped playing. I guess, had seen him run off the field too. But I don't know. I really don't know if he was on the field when the goal was scored or not. That kid wasn't involved in the play, but that doesn't matter. But that happened at Apricot Jam, and it was unfortunate because it's like I said, I told to the team that was upset. I said I can't disallow it because I restarted with the kickoff already, and then I had to think about later about the entering and exiting the field of play without my permission and giving a caution and all that. But I mean, I didn't in the moment, but again, because I was just processing what was happening and thinking about it after. But yeah, that happened, and unfortunately, it didn't matter, if you will, in the result of the game, because the team that scored won by a few goals. But still, it felt it was upsetting that it happened. I hadn't had that happen before, so that's all.
So what are you going to change to make sure that doesn't happen again?
I have been counting and recounting players on the field ever since that moment. Like after I've counted, I count again when I can, even when plays restarted. That's I can talk to my AR too before to make sure that maybe when they count the players on the field at a sub break, that I could like look over to them and give them a thumbs up before we restart the next quarter. That would help that situation too.
Yeah, that's good because if you're both counting, then it's much less likely that could happen. And I just wanted to give you a comment on 10U matches and cautioning a player for leaving the field. Remember, we want it to be age appropriate.
Yeah.
And that player was probably unaware he wasn't supposed to be on the field, and then somebody told him he needed to come off the field. That's not willful, and
Yeah.
that player was not aware they were committing misconduct. So probably good thing that there was no caution in that situation.
At that point,
100%.
you'd be
Yeah.
punishing the child for the coach's mistake and the referee crew's mistake.
Yeah, 100% agree. And when I was looking back at it, I was thinking, no, I wouldn't have given a caution to the kid ever. Looking back at it, the 10U, when I've been just thinking about it to myself after, I've thought about I think there's something in the IFAB that says if the player can't be identified but there was a player who entered or exited, that you can give it to the coach, a caution to the coach. And I don't know that I would have done that still in this case, but I've been thinking about it for if it ever happens again, what I would do. Is that true that you can if you can't identify the player that entered or exited, you can give it a caution to the coach? Is that true? I thought that was in there, but I don't know.
I believe that the section you're referring to talks about dissent coming from the technical area, and if they can't determine who it came from, they can give the caution to the coach.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just pull that up. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for sharing that story, James.
Yeah. Is that the end for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. There's a little bit of history I want to throw in there. Back in 2013, U.S. Soccer stopped publishing the guided procedures, and a lot of you hadn't started refereeing yet. So you won't remember. But I still have my guided procedures because I was refereeing back then. And they had some other mechanics, some other steps in there that are, well, the whole thing is gone now. The laws of the game have incorporated a lot of the procedures, but so that's why part of why U.S. Soccer doesn't publish that anymore. But there are two situations that aren't covered anymore that were important enough to U.S. Soccer. And one of them was if there's this is on a goal, no goal situation. The heading for this section is an apparent goal is to be disallowed. Um, and so for the lead AR, what happens here, if there is a foul by an attacker, the lead AR stands at attention with the flag held straight down at the side. So they freeze. Um, and then, of course, that's the predetermined signals, and then the referee knows. The AR thinks that attacker committed a foul. Am I going to blow the whistle or am I going goal? So it's an interesting thing to think about pregame. How do we handle that situation? The other bullet point is similar, but if a player other than the one scoring the goal is in an offside position, and in the opinion of the referee, the assistant referee was interfering with play, the AR stands at attention with the flag held straight down. So it's a good thing to think about the pregame. I know we had the example from John where he tried to let his referee know, actually, we have a problem here, and the referee said, no. And it made me think, there's clearly a lot going on with the goal no goal. Cindy had prepared a lot around that. And if it is one of the essentials, if it's so critical, it's one of the times where I know my pregame is, I kind of the normal thing. I tell the ARs, if I wave you down there, but if you're certain I'm blowing it, make sure I don't miss it. So on something like a goal, no goal, John, do you think if you had the opportunity to go back, would you push a little harder on that ref, or what do you think?
So the answer is yes, because it was such a critical call. But the one thing I really like about being a referee is that no matter what the badge level, the referee in the center is the person so a national, a regional, it doesn't matter. Like, you're assisting the referee. In this case, it was someone who, the badge level didn't matter. It was, the call was wrong. I stepped onto the field, so I thought that I did what it took to raise the flag, but I did want, and had he not touched his hand, as if like, so this, I thought he meant it touched the hand, I'm done, and that's what put me back in my place. But I think I should have waved him over and said, let's talk, like, because he did talk to the referee on the touch line, and they discussed it and missed the call. And we talked about it after the game, and it was a lesson learned, but it was those are hard lessons learned. That's I'm wrong, I learned, and those are not the ideal lessons. I'm sure that he won't mess that up again, but it was hard.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. 20, how many? 24 years refereeing now. The only match I've started but haven't finished was when a team ran out of coaches in their response to disagreeing on a goal no goal situation. They ran out of coaches. So we were done there. So it's definitely one that matters. So I'm glad you were all here to participate in the discussion. And Cindy compiled all this material from all throughout the laws for us with the clips because it matters. So I'm looking forward to seeing a number of you out there this weekend. It's our last tournament. If I'm not mistaken, we've got 14 games, which is a great presence for us. It doesn't hit our 20 record, which was very impressive at Apricot Jam, but I'm really excited with everyone making the 14 happen. So we do have 2 more focused discussions coming this season, and they are on the rest of the essentials. So on 100% misconduct and on I'm blanking.
Penalty kick.
Penalty kick. Thank you. Penalty kick. Those we can say those will tide you over to the fall season. Those will engage your interest during the World Cup. And some of you still have tournaments going. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here and committing more time to becoming the leaders as referees in your regions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.